Quite recently, I travelled to London. See, look, I'm not lying. And, as I like to travel a lot, I was really impressed by some of the bigger landmarks. One of those landmarks in particular being Big Ben. Sometimes, as a Brit, it feels like maybe our architecture doesn't compare to the likes of Paris. But I think there's the chance that we're giving ourselves a bad rap, which is why today I've partnered with Pantasy to build this, the Steampunk Clock Tower Park. And I'm not going to lie, this set has really interested me recently. It's got over 1,000 pieces, a really interesting design from Pantasy, who are really bringing out this steampunk kind of look. And I can only apologise to them, because I've had this set for a while and I'm finally getting the chance to build it now. And I wish I could have got it out earlier to show you guys. But that being said, we're going to review it today. We're going to see if it's as good as people are saying and if their steampunk line is the way forward. We have some very impressive box art for this set, whether that be the back of the set like we're looking at now to the top of the set, all embroidered with really nice design. It's clear that we're using Go bricks in this set with pad printing, and everything's really clear. We know we're working with Pantasy again here, who I'm really excited to work with, so we've not done it in a while. And we've got all the information on the set on this side. Over on this side, we've just got the logo again, but also the measurements of the build. So this one is going to be 25 centimeters wide today, and that's 10 inches in terms of where we're going to put the thing in space, and it is pretty tall at a really impressive 57 centimeters tall or 22 inches, which is pretty lengthy for a build like this. The set is also really affordable, which is always really important to me. A big aim of the channel is to be able to build cities comfortably and affordably. That's why sets like these from companies like Pantasy are a great way to bolster your collection. Pantasy have a range of really interesting sets, whether that be their own custom sets or IPs that they've worked with. Last year I was lucky enough to work with them a few times and notably built the Astro Boy set and the Sherlock Holmes modular set, both of which were incredible and are mainstays now in my LEGO collection. So I'm hoping for another really impressive build today from Pantasy. I think they definitely will impress me again, but we're going to have to see as we build. I love how this set brings out British culture in a really nice and interesting way, and I think the steampunk design elevates the set and makes it a little bit more visually interesting than it otherwise would be if it was a one-for-one recreation. The set is also a really manageable height and width, which means it's really easy to get into a city. Well, we'll test that out later, but we'll make sure that it is affordable. This set isn't going to break the bank, and I really like that. So I guess let's open this up and see what it's got inside. We've got a lot on the table right now, but let's break down what all of this actually is. We have a regular size base plate, whatever this thing is, our singular instruction manual, bags 1, bags 2, bags 3, bag 4, bags 5, bag 6, bag 7, bags 8, bags 9, bags 10, bags 11, bags 12, bags 13, bags 14, bags 15, and finally bag 16. You can see throughout there Pantasy have excellent brand designing, whether that be the bags or the instruction manual. They always bring their A game when it comes to showing that this is their company and giving themselves a unique look. Now 16 different bags is obviously a lot, way more than normal, but Pantasy like to keep their bags quite small and compact, and I think that really helps the feeling of progression while you build. Sometimes maybe with real LEGO sets, you'll open one bag and you'll kind of be building it for a few hours, and sometimes you don't have a few hours, so you don't even get one bag done while you're building. So I think it's really helpful to have it split into smaller sections to give you more of a feeling of accomplishment. Guys, I'm really excited about this build, so I don't see any reason not to just jump in now. Let's get building. Look what's done. Built here. It's gorgeous. It looks really good. It shines. It's golden. It's everything you want it to be. Let's talk about it. First of all, though, this instruction manual was absolutely immaculate, really clear, really easy to build. Really enjoyed all the steps. Nothing was complicated. It all went together really well. We've got loads of great color printing here. Color printing can be a big issue when you're making sets like these sometimes because they look a little bit off. And if we just quickly flick over to the back, you can see that they've even got promotions for their other sets like the Astro Boy stuff, which we have actually bought before. Adding on to this, we also get a small collection of spare pieces that you can now add to your own collection. But let's talk about what we really want to see here. This build is really, really impressive. We're going to talk about the positives and the negatives to give you a full overall look at what this set kind of is and what it will be to you guys so you can consider buying it appropriately. Now, first things first, I'm going to point out that this is actually built on a full regular size base plate. Now, it is ever so slightly than a normal Lego base plate would be, so take that into account when city building because it will be slightly higher than everything else. You built this in a really interesting way where you built the base plate and then you kind of built the clock tower separately and then put it on top after the event. I've got to say, doesn't the clock tower just simply look incredible? There was a selection of golden pieces they used to really shine the whole thing up and make it look very similar to the real Big Ben in multiple ways. And I think it just really makes the set pop as a whole. The light hits it really nicely and it just kind of stands out in a way I'm not sure other builds will. And I'm sure you can see we also get some absolute British staples, being, the phone box over here. We've got the very British looking street lamps, a nice little bench. We've got a taxi that actually does come off the set. You can move that to your own will, and you can even get some minifigures in there if you wanted to. It's normal sized. All these are not stickers, they are all printed pieces, which obviously is a preference because it just makes everything so much easier. And I've got to say, I really love the design of the water fountain over here. There was one that came in the Assembly Square set, and I've got to say, I actually like this one better. It has a really cool design, and all these are loose studs in the actual tower to have that water look. And I always love when people use that look. The set is detailed on all sides, but it makes me to go on to maybe some of my negatives. So this piece simply won't go on the back, but there's kind of a reason for that. So as you can see, there are gears at the front. That's a purposeful design, they want it to look steampunky, but the whole inner workings of the clock tower is all kind of like a mechanism, and you're meant to pull this, and it's meant to make all the cogs turn and basically wind this pendulum. And it would have been a really cool effect. However, it didn't really work. The mechanism took ages to build as well. It went across 2 or 3 bags, and it literally was a few hours. It was most of the build time of this set was just going towards the massive mechanism inside of it, and it didn't actually work. It was a bit messy, a bit more complicated than the rest of the set. And I think, to be honest, even though it would have been a nice addition if it was fully functional, it's not needed, and I think it maybe could have done the set a little bit better off if we didn't have it. So then, you can just almost add more detail maybe to the interior or anything else, because in terms of the actual inside of the clock tower, the set doesn't really offer that much. Another issue was at times there was 1 or 2 missing pieces. Now, not too many to the point of ruining the build, but just slight annoyances. And this could easily be corrected because Pantasy have a great system where if you get in touch, they will send you those pieces. But we all know we just want the pieces originally. We don't want to be dealing with all this customer service stuff where you then have to, delay your build just to go build it, like how you should be able to from the get go. But in terms of the actual building and the detail, the set's incredible. And like I said, the printed pieces really help things out, whether that be on the actual clock itself or on the taxi or the phone box. It all really helps add to the character of the set. Pantasy have absolutely aced the design. I think it really has a feel for British culture, and I really like how they've incorporated the steampunk design, but also not too much to a level where it's a little bit has to be a steampunk city it goes into. This can definitely fit in a normal city, especially because it's just one modular size big, with being the normal size base plate, that you can just throw this in and it would add well. I think a big part, a lot of people have been telling me to do it, but Mill's plate in this would make it applicable for the whole city. If you mills plated your whole city, mills plated this, it'd go in and it'd look gorgeous, really well. And that's something I might be considering. That's going to be coming up in a few videos' time. Checking my decision on that. And guys, Pantasy are just a great company overall. I've worked with them a few times now, and I've never been disappointed. They've always done a fantastic job. And they're a really interesting company because they have a lot of IPs under their belt. They've got a lot of different ranges of sets, and they're really impressive. I think they definitely deserve a bit more popularity within the alternate Lego community because the stuff they're releasing is always really high in quality. I've never had any issues with Fantasy, and they're one of the only companies that I never have. And I'd love to be able to work with them more, but I might even buy some for my own collection out my own pocket because they generally do release good stuff. All the necessary links and everything you need to find will be in my description. If you want to get your own Fantasy stuff, that's the place to do it. But literally, like, all the bricks were really good quality. They all went together really nicely. The colours were perfect, especially with the gold. Gold bricks are a bit hit and miss from time to time with companies, but the gold bricks were all perfect here. I can't wait for you guys to see me putting this in the city. And if you want to see stuff like that and you're maybe not a subscriber already, then maybe consider doing that because we will be putting this in the city. You know, we've got a whole thing going on and there's a lot more city stuff going on this year. So if you want to see stuff like that, make sure to drop a subscribe. And I also have a members scheme where you can pay like $1.99 a month, and it basically means that you get access to videos early, and it just really helps the channel out. It really helps me out, and means I'm able to keep buying sets and making videos to show you guys how to build a city affordably and have a Lego collection in 2025. Guys, Pantasy are well worth your money. I can't recommend them enough. I had a great time building this. All the little details are so sublime, and to really like appreciate them, I think you have to buy it for yourself and check it out. They have a long range of other steampunk collection items and just general sets. We're at a really exciting time in the year for ballistic bricks because we are kind of getting to the point where maybe we're going to have some more alternate modulars coming up, which this is kind of leading into. We're going to have some real Lego coming up. If there's anything you guys want to see on the channel, make sure to let me know in the comments and I'll definitely look into it. Guys, I've been Ballistic Bricks. This is Ballistic Bricks approved. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!